Well, good evening, everybody. I would like to see all handsome and beautiful faces if possible, uh, but that's okay. I really welcome everyone to this online session. And good evening, everyone. Hope we will have more people joining, but since we mentioned 6:30, we are gonna start at the right time. Uh, well, everybody's presence is greatly appreciated, and I am sure we'll have a productive and very fruitful session. On behalf of my team, I welcome everyone very warmly to this virtual session. I hope most of us or all participants are from the great state of Maryland. That is a cool part. Uh, and before I begin, I would like to introduce our team to the participants and myself, Leela Kharki. I am the associate professor here at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and I also work as the Extension Program Evaluation Specialist, and I am the director of this year's Property Education Project. And we have Nicole Cook, and Miss Cook has tons and tons of experience about legal issues, and she's the environmental and agricultural faculty legal specialist. Uh, Raksha, do you see my slide? Okay. Okay. And she's the co-director of this year's property education project. And similarly, we have Dr. Prem Bandari, and he is the agritourism and valuated agricultural marketing specialist and co-director of this year's property education project. At last but not the least, our very energetic and very active, outstanding graduate student, Raksha Khanka. She's doing her master's in food and agriculture sciences with agricultural economics concentration. And she keeps us pushing every day about this year's property education project. And I thank you and welcome all team members. And then I think, I'm not sure, but I think this topic, I mean, today's topic about understanding US property at the community level could be fairly new to some of you or many of you, but I'm sure you are interested and willing to learn something new about US property. That is my expectation. And what is this? Oh, sorry. And when we talk yes property, we have three sections that we deal uh, with our participants. The first one is introduction and overview, and the second one is uh, about issues that are related to preventing yes property, and third one is the resolution. And I would also like to remind all of you to mark your calendar for the next two sessions, that is about prevention and resolution, which is scheduled for June the 12th and the 19th. And I am sure you don't want to miss Miss Cook's presentation. So you will learn a lot from her presentation about these two issues. And at the same time, I would also like to share with you that we have scheduled this in-person workshop for June the 28th in Crisfield, Somerset County. And I'm sure many of you have people in your network. And if you have anybody in this area, please let them know and take them the opportunity benefit of this opportunity on June the 28th. And we have been organizing this year's property education workshop across Maryland, and this could be our maybe 12th or 13th workshop, if I am not mistaken. And we have organized at least one in all cluster counties in Maryland. You can start from Western Maryland cluster. We had one in Washington County, and then one in Montgomery County. Then in the Capital cluster, we had one in Prince George County. In Southern Maryland cluster, we had one in St. Mary's County. We also had one in Baltimore County, followed by one in Baltimore City as well, and then one in Kent County, and we had one in this Lower Shore County, Lower Shore region in Wicomico County, and we had multiple in Somerset counties. And this is the first online webinar based on the request by many participants in many in-person workshops. And if people request, maybe we may organize in person as well in respective towns or locations. And before I start with this overview section of the Yes Property, I would like to share with you a couple of housekeeping things. The first one is we have SWOT evaluation. I hope all of you will fill out the SWOT evaluation form before you leave this session today. And Raksha might have already emailed you the link for evaluation. If not, she will. And in addition to email sharing, she will also paste this evaluation link in the chat towards the end of the session, so you can fill out from that link. And then we definitely would like to make this session very interactive based on issues that you have been facing. And but I would like to share couple of slides with you, and I request you to hold or write your questions in the chat, and we'll discuss after I finish with my short presentation. And then again, I would like to request you don't forget to mark your calendar for the scheduled events on the 12th and 19th of June. And similarly, the in-person event in Crisfield, Somerset County on June the 28th. And recordings will be available, so that is not a problem. And Raksha will record our today's session. And those who are willing to have presentation slides, we will definitely share. Raksha, those who have registered, Raksha has the access to all emails, and she will share the presentation slides as well. And then in addition to this online session, we can also organize or conduct in-person session. If you are ready to invite 10-15 people in your own location, your town, and let us know, we can come and do in-person session as well. But this is up to you participants. And with that, I would like to go over briefly about this introduction session of this US property and on behalf of my team. And when we talk about this US property, the major purpose of this program is to provide basic information, basic like awareness creating events in the form of training. And this event was sponsored by USDA Farm Service Agency through Alcorn State University. And when we talk like yes property, definitely many of you are familiar. The property that is family owned land can be other forms of properties as well and inherited by multiple generations without the formal legal proceedings to prove the ownership. You are the owner of that property. For example, that can be a will or can be you may have succession planning or estate planning as well. And if you are not familiar with the word will, I will talk at the end. You may want to make a note of this. And when I referred this word will, I would also like to share with you some information about the status, how many people have will. 50% of Americans here means mostly white people, they don't have will. And the figure is even higher with the African American, and that is 70%. They don't have a will. Maybe we don't have a culture to prepare a will. We'll talk later about this one. And in the next sessions, Ms. Cook will talk more about will, succession planning, and estate planning. And this year property is like the property passed down informally from generation to generation, and the original landowner dies without a will, or the will was not probated or administered. That's why that was not considered as a legal document. And this can potentially include hundreds of relatives, can be any number, 20, 50, 100, 200, but no single heir has a clear title to the entire parcel, but each one has interest in the entire asset rather than just a fraction of their share. And this one, the picture here, you can see the tree. It doesn't look very clear, but this is very important in relation to heirs property. Like all of us have to develop our family tree. That way we can track our potential heirs. That will be very helpful. And heirs property, again, like the heirs own the property, but they don't have a clear title. And this heir property sometimes referred as family land or fractured. You may recall what happens if someone has fractured hand or leg, means that is not working well. This is how the heirs property is related to this context. And the tangle can also be called tangle property. Like you can see a gentleman tangle in that rope and hard to get out of that. And also called clouded title, which is not clear. And we'll talk later about this clouded title more. And all these, no matter which form or whatever we call, that restricts being able to manage the property and use the asset to accumulate wealth in our land, means we cannot develop our land, improve, and use to the best potential level. And a couple of terminology, mostly they are familiar to you, I hope, like descendant, the death of a property holder, and tested like valid will and testament of the property, and intestate is lack of will of that particular property, which we call yes property, and clouded title is unclear documentation of the property or not clear, and partition sales is division of our inherited property among co-owners or co-heirs through court-ordered sales. There are many more related terminologies, but I just brought a couple of here. And you can see on the picture here, there is a person on the center who is referred to as grandfather, and on the right and left is land and title. And the land that owned by grandfather is passed down to potential heirs or children, but the title of that land is on his name. And heirs who inherit this land, the property do not have clear legal title to the land, because this land is referred to, this land is on his name, grandfather's name, and this is called cloudy title. And when we have like unclear document or fraction of ownership, that might happen like this single small house and siblings or brothers taking pulling their portion of the property, which will have no use at the end if this works that way. And there are many problems associated with yes property. A couple of them, like the developers and creditors are taking advantage of the fragmented ownership of the structure because of partition sales and some other forms of sales that can also be tax sales. And ultimately, there will be loss of land due to partition sales, legal fees and taxes, leading to tax liens and family disputes, and this gentrification and development of the neighborhood, and lack of estate planning. And similarly, there are some more ambiguities related to this land or yes property, which is a fractional ownership. Intergenerational transfer means keep on transferring, but no one has the clear title and unclear boundaries of the property. And definitely, I mentioned lack of clear title and problem in maintaining and upkeeping the land, limited financing options because there is no clear ownership of the land, and for sure legal issues and disputes of that property. And again, family tree is always important when we talk about yes property, and I reiterate developing our family tree, all of us. And all potential heir of that particular property has equal rights to full use and possession of that property, and each heir is legally responsible for taxes and other property related expenses, and each heir may transfer their portion or fraction of interest by gift or sell their interest to another heir would be okay. But when heir transfers his interest or fraction of property to non-heir, then that creates a serious problem. And each heir may seek a partition of property, but the thing is, like, all heirs must agree to any major decision that we would like to do or develop that land in better way, or use that land to the best possible ways. And what are the impacts of yes property? Generally, this is reported in three ways. One is at personal level, second is making decision at the family level, and third one is at the community level. And in the case of like this landowner impact on landowner, this air property restricts like doing things on that particular land. For instance, timber harvesting, if we have timber, or if we would like to reforest, then that is another restriction. And all things, activity that we would like to do in that particular land, we will have problem, and including mineral rights, taking loans, and building a house, and so on. And historically, like this yes property created problem by blocking or making participation difficult in some federal programs sponsored by through USDA. I'm sure you are familiar with USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, and FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and they require proof of ownership to participate in their programs. So that was a challenge. And the programs could be conservation or farm ownership loan, applying or taking farm ownership loan, or micro or any forms of farm loans, or disaster assistance program, and or any kind of land improvement projects. All these require this proof of ownership, and having this yes property created that problem from participation. And at the family and personal level, that keeps on like creating intergenerational poverty, because the lack of personal ownership of the land inhibits wealth creation in that particular land, because we cannot develop that land. And similarly, that inhibits the full use of the land, and also hinders insuring the property, because insurance company also require proof of ownership, which is a challenge for the heirs. And at the community level, there are different ways that heirs property affects, like you can see the abandoned house, locked, maybe many decades left behind. That affects how land is managed. Similarly, land cannot be developed to its full potential, and community will definitely lose taxes from the land, because heirs are not paying the taxes in time, and ultimately they will lose the land. And the loss of opportunity for improvements of that property or land. And this is my major concern when I see land loss. This year property causes and has caused millions of acres of land loss, because yes, property is land without secure title. It is often the target of takeaway strategy. That means many developers and many other people have target to take that land with minimum price. That is always a challenge. And let me show one figure here, taken in two different points of time. One is in 1910 and the second is 2017. And between these 107 years, like 89% of land was lost. In other words, declined from the ownership. Ownership means this is the figure, the land owned by African American families who had like nearly 16 million acres of land in 1910, and that happened to be less than 2 million in the agricultural census taken in 2017. That is a loss of 89% of the land. How that was lost? Mostly because of partition sales and tax sales. In many cases, and some heirs have no interest in the land at all because of so many reasons, and I will share a couple of reasons why they don't care much about the land later. And I would like you to see this slide so you can have like insight how people lost land because of this tax sales. And but this may vary from state to state, if not county to county. But this is an example from Macon County, Alabama. This is one of the counties that has a whole lot of heirs property. And the thing is, like, heirs are living in different areas, and when tax is not paid in October, and that is delinquent after December the 31st, and in May, then the what is called the announcement comes with like tax sales, and there are some, I mean, rules how that land is being sold. And partition sales, that was one of the major causes for the land loss, this 89%. And more specifically, this is one or more co-owners or heirs of the property sell their fractional interest to a developer. This is can be other people also. In this case, is a developer, and developer wants gets that land from one of the heirs or co-owners, then files a partition action asking a court to order the whole property be sold so that the developer can get the value of their interest. And the property gets sold, and finally the whole family loses the land. And when one co-owner or one of the heirs sells his or her portion of interest or fraction, then that triggers the sale, and that comes as auction through the court, and ultimately the land is sold and family loses the whole land. And fractional ownership, some challenges of time, distance, and knowledge, a combined effect, and that I would like to show in one example relating to time factor. One family, let's see this example. One family in 1865 that owned 40 acres of land, and they had 4 children. That means each children has 25% of ownership, or 10 acres in terms of acreage. And what happens as time goes by? This 40 acres land in 1865, let's see what happens in 2020. Like the parents, each child had 4 children across the 8th generation until 2020. That would be like, we can't imagine like that many years in 8th generation, taking 4 children, assuming like 4 children in each family, 65,536 owners or years. That is incredibly too many, which is beyond our imagination. And the land in 65, 1 year had share of 4 acres, 10 acres. In a family of 4, that happened to be like 0.006. In other words, 26 square foot in the after 8th generation. Means no one can make any use of this 26 square feet of land. So if we keep track of family tree and act timely, so we can do much better than the wastage of land in this way. And there are many challenges, and one of them is legal. And from the legal perspective, like many people have mistrust of this legal system, sometimes some of might have experienced or heard story from their neighbors, friends, families that legal system also took their land away. That's how people have a kind of mistrust. And another factor is like people have problem hiring attorneys to manage all this heirs property, because there are many heirs and no one is willing to pay the fees. And the other thing is lack of knowledge, proper knowledge and skills, contracting or doing things, making wills or developing estate plan or succession plan. These are some of the issues related to legal aspects. And similarly, we have some considerations from cultural perspective, like heirs further away, they live further away in the distance or from the property. That is one problem. And the other thing is like all heirs may not agree on proper land use and access. Many of them have different ideas, options, interest. And the most important thing these days is younger generation. They have different perception about the value of land. They all consider like what is called mostly the easily liquidable asset like cash and many other things, and they don't have the real essence of the land, how that land was bought or maintained and created. And this was like the challenge from distance perspective. You can see this with many stars is the property where the years were lived. And later on, as time passes by many years, because of different reasons, job, education, so on and so forth, they move to different locations and they are far away from the property. So they don't want to pay much attention about a small fraction of that land, can be 1 acre, 5 acre, or whatever the area would be. And another challenge is management, which is very realistic because many heirs may not live on or near the land for sure because of so many reasons. And they may not live near each other for sure and may not know one another. Can happen after 2-3 generations because they don't have contact, and may not know of how to locate one another because people are very individual kind of thing, very individualistic thinking own thing rather than siblings or other people's business. And then many heirs may not have connection to the land. These are some challenges from managemental perspective. And locating yes poverty, I am almost to the end, and then we'll have discussion. From locating yes property perspective, it has been reported in three ways. One is regional and state level, and the second is county level, and third one is the family level. And when we talk about this region and state level, you can see this picture. This represents the southeast region, where yes property is heavily what is called reported, and the darker or what is called the color, the more severity of yes property, and which ranges from sorry, this is not very big enough to read. And the problem ranges from 0.4% to 2.4 something percentage. The the blue dark means the higher number of year property issues, and the years property issue is mostly concentrated in Southeast region. And when we talk from county level, county level perspective, you can see an example of Macon County, Alabama. All these dots mean like number of years property in that particular county, which is one of the county with highest number of years property issues. And when we talk from family perspective, we should initiate family discussions at the dining table or whenever is possible, and talk about our property and see the ways how we can track and manage things. And that will help us create our family tree. That way we will know how many generations, how many years, how many co-owners. These are the basic things to track this year property. And similarly, whenever there is a chance or an opportunity, try to participate in educational activities that can be like consultation, counseling, training, or workshop in your neighborhood or online or in any ways that will give some ideas or insights. And with that, these educational events, and the ultimate thing is we all of us have to encourage and ourselves have to develop or prepare this will. That is the only proof, that is not the only proof, but that is the most important proof to claim the ownership of the property or our land. And with that, I would like to stop here